It just seems to be going from bad to worse. I mean, if England, listen, mate, you know it better than I do. England win that third test, we're not having this discussion about players out having a couple of pints.
No.
But because they lost it, we are.
Yeah, exactly. And Ray and Ali, I'm going to bring you both in on into this, and let's have a conversation and debate. The human being element to professional sport is sometimes lost. The New Zealand trip started, the lads left on the 6th of October. So someone like Ben Duckett, who's out there, Ben Duckett might spend 2, possibly 3 weeks at home because he's in the IPL.
Yeah. Between
the 6th of October and the 31st of May. Get that, 31st of May, he might spend a fortnight at home, right? The legs of Jacob Bethel, who hasn't played in this series so far, but he's still there. You're aware for a hell of a lot. They're involved. I think there's 6 or 7 of this group who are going to be involved in the White Ball ICC trophy. If they get to the final, it's going to be the 6. Some of them went. Some of the one-day lads went away on the 15th of October. They come back. If they get to the final, which England could do, that's the 8th of March. So they're away all that time. You know, you've been in World Cups, you've been in European Championships, you've been away. There's times in them tournaments where you get 3 or 4 days where you have to take the human element and take the cricket out of it in the professional now. Now, I understand, you know, from my experience, lads, on my first ever Ashes trip, first ever senior trip we were with England in 2002, I left on the 8th of October. My daughter was born on the 4th of December. I wasn't allowed to come home. I came home for 4 days for the first week, for the 1st of February, and then went back to the World Cup, which didn't come home till the 5th of March. Now, we are professional sportsmen. We are working. But sometimes when you get a 4-day break, you should be allowed to look after yourself in that way. I'm not condoning what they've done. If they've been drinking, if they've gone 6-day bender, bang them against the wall and they get what they deserve. But if they've been caught having a couple of pints in the middle of the afternoon when the world is ending, I mean, I'm not hammering them for this. So I'm trying to put a professional perspective of what it's like being on an Ashes tour, especially if you've got a World Cup tagged on the end of it.
Do you know something, Harmy? I tell you what I'm on it, right? I agree with you. If they've went in a bender, you can't be doing that. I accept that's out of order. But do you know something? Why don't we concentrate on the big picture? You know, getting out to the same shots, bowling not been good enough, drop catches. For me, that's a big issue.
Look, lads, if they'd been on a 6-day bender before the first Ashes Test match, then fair enough, I'd hammer them because they dropped 4 or 5 catches. They were playing ridiculous shots, and you could say they were underprepared. But this week, I don't think 4 days in Noosa was required. It was planned, and that's what good planning does. You have this long period, but the cricket's not been up to it. We've been nowhere near good enough. As a collective team, England have been nowhere near to the standard of what Australia have. And these stories compound the issue. But I mean, I'd be careful of sort of judging young men for being the amount of time they're away from home. I've always said, we just look at cricket. We switch the telly on 15 minutes before the game starts. We enjoy the footage of the game. We switch the telly on 15 minutes before after the close of play. Go off and live your normal life. You go back to a goldfish bowl of a hotel room, of room service, all this stuff. And like I said, somebody like Ben Duckett might spend 3 weeks at home in between 6th of October and the 31st of May. I mean, you have to have a release every now and again, but it's within reason, it's within moderation, and that's up to Rob Key to sort that out.
Is it Rob Key who deals with that, Harmy? Because he's been in big cricket, he's been around, and he knows exactly how to deal with people as well, isn't he? So it's not like probably football where the manager would pull you in if you've got in trouble or something, and then if discipline you, fine you maybe, and all that. Is it similar? So Rob Key would be the man who has to sit down with the players and have a chat with them.
Yeah, 100%, Ray. And the thing with Keezy, I mean, this is the biggest thing that's broken me over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, that I'm having to pass comment on things that one of my best mates have done. Rob Key is very, very streetwise. During that 2002, 2003 period when my daughter was born and all that stuff, if it wasn't for Rob Key, I'm not sure where my career would have been, because he's my best mate in all this, and he was looking after us and that. He's man of the world. He understands what's going on. He understands it totally. He gets it. And I think if there's anybody to deal with this, then I think Rob Key will be the man. Because if this was dealt with an old school tie, like you two guys, English chef here, Scottish chef here, you know the type I'm talking about, that look, they're completely, away from the world, who don't really sort of understand what's going on in a young lad's mind. It would come down on you like a ton of bricks, and it would be an absolute nightmare.
Harmy, here's the biggest question.
He'll deal with this fine. He'll deal with this properly, and I think he's a good man to deal with it. He's got his feet firmly on the ground, and he understands the situation. I think Rob will be fine with this. Yeah,
I don't think you're wrong. I think he's absolutely perfect man to handle the question. But here's a bigger question: does Brendan McCullum keep his job as head coach?
I'm not saying he's got 2 weeks to do that, but I think if England get beat 5-0, it's got to fall on somebody. It can't fall on Ben Stokes, because for me, I don't think he can do any more than what he's doing.
No, agreed.
And I think Rob Key's done. I think the last 3.5 years have been a great ride for English fans. And I think there's a lot of things that Key's done well away from the England team that I think he deserves to keep his going. The messaging and all the stuff that England's performance and plan, not having a plan B, all the stuff from a preparation point of view, for me, unfortunately, that's on the coach. And if there is a fall guy, I think it might be Brendan.